Hey guys, welcome to another one of our videos. I'm the Worm, this is the Proton, and we forgot to turn autofocus off.
And we have forgot to turn autofocus off. Bad Worm.
There we go. Bad Worm. There's 4 pairs of eyes here.
Yep, and he has the mouse, so doesn't count.
But I don't care.
Whatever. Are you doing all this intro, or?
Yes, today we are doing a review of an item that isn't actually sold on the site we got it from, but they wanted us to review it because it's...
They wanted us to check it out and see, they want our opinion on it basically. This isn't a...
They've had a few queries about it.
Yeah, this isn't a rush out and buy one. We've got no information on it for you. It's literally just a case of we're making this for them, and we're going to stick it on YouTube anyway. But basically, we're not going to bother declaring the site or anything because it's irrelevant to where it comes from because it's not being sold.
No.
So we didn't receive it free, but trust me, that's not going to change the opinion.
Thank you to whoever sent it. You know who you are.
Yeah, basically what this is called, it's the HydroVape Pen.
Big pile of rubbish.
Well, maybe. Basically, what it's called is HydroVape Pen. It comes as a kit, and you buy the little additive to go inside it. We're going to point out we've got this on a spinner and not the battery that comes in the kit, but we have got a pen top to give you an idea of what the intention is. So,
just bear in mind, I'm going to hide that spinner, but basically that's going to be the pen top that you're going to see poking out the top of your pocket. But yeah, you
undo it.
That's good to do.
Undo it. Basically, the idea is you take the top off and you can have a quick, cheeky little vape, and it kind of looks like a pen, very discreet.
I'll take off the casing as well, just so you can see the. Take this inside. That's what you got inside. And
that's what's inside, and the pen kind of hides it. Now, I know the rough prices on these are about $4.50 for the inside. The actual kit, no idea. I know that the intention behind this device is to make something that carries less bacteria in it than your standard clearomizer, where saliva or whatever else will recondense and drip back into your atty or drip back into your coil or whatever you want to call it, and to stop you basically vaping your own disgustingness. We
did have 2 of these, which we did test one, and Mr. Proton took it apart, and from what I can see, it looks like an over-exaggerated Type A client.
We'll take it apart for you.
But you'll see what I mean when we get down there.
Take it apart and you'll see exactly what's going on inside it.
I haven't primed this. I've just kind of left it sitting in there for about 5 minutes or so. So hopefully it's wicked down.
Do want to point out we had to fill this off camera. We was going to fill it on, but basically the silicone in it was riding slightly, so we had to sit and prong the silicone down. So that's thumbs down straight away for the fact that the silicone ain't even where it's supposed to be.
Nope.
So we are going to have a little puff. We're going to actually have a vape for a good couple of minutes and see if we can get this thing bearded and see how we go. We've tested it on the Vamo 2.5 ohm coil in that one.
Pear in here at the moment.
Pear flavour from our mystery supplier. And cool breeze. And
tastes like burnt pear.
Tastes like burnt pear already.
Really? 2 puffs. I got 1 puff of that.
Honestly, this bloody thing.
I would like to say I did fill that up to where the top of that. Can we focus in a bit here? Double whammy. Let me get right close. You see where that black lid is? You can see where the e-juice is at the moment. It's about there where mine now is, and I filled up to where the lid is. That's obviously wicked through, and it's still burnt in. So,
like I say, we did have 2 of these. Did have a go at mine, and to be honest, I was more kind of wanting to know what was going on in there in the first place, because typically if it was like a Carto with a punch in it, you dry pull to get your wick in. Even if it was a Clearo, if it was a V3 or something, you could roll it. Because you've got no visible wick in there apart from the one that's at the bottom, you can't roll it because it's basically Kanger style sitting on top of that wick, which should in theory give you gravity going with you, helping you wick that thing down. So it's obviously not working as a wicking system, and the problem is that basically, as Worm said, it's kind of like an exaggerated Type A cartridge. Down the side you've got an inseam that's cut down in similar to the way that a Type A is, so you juice in the middle and your airflow comes from the side. That meets just below silicone, it brings up the air. The idea is, I believe, that your airflow never gets directly in touch with your coil, but to be honest with you, with this kind of stuff, you've got a tip that's going in your mouth. There's going to be residue in your mouth going back down. Now, if that air's got to go past that coil, there's a way for saliva to find its way to the coil. It's just as simple as that. Unless you've got an electric air system, you don't have to pull in a chamber, then it's just going to be the case. Is it still just dry hitting?
It's crap.
Is it still just dry hitting?
It's such a pile of rubbish. I mean, fuck.
I mean, we was told that inside the pen they perform even worse than this. To be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure how it could perform worse than this.
We will find out in a second. Well, I will.
If it implodes, then you know how it could perform worse than this. It's 510, guys. I think there are about 4 people these 80s, but don't buy one. It's just no.
Less air.
Less
So
air.
less vapor.
Less air. So
less burnt vapor.
Less burnt vapor.
Which is a good thing, in my opinion.
Should we go down and take this thing apart? Should we get a bit apart and show everyone what's in there? Because it's one of the questions we've been asked by a couple of people is to show them how this works, or sort of give them what we think how this works.
We will rip this apart.
And we're going to rip it apart for you, and we're going to tell you exactly how it works.
Well, I am thankful for this pen thing, because I will try and use that with a Bocato.
Or Bocato, or a Vision Nano.
They're
not great. They're alright, but they're better than that, aren't they?
Better than this, yeah. Definitely.
I mean, Vision Nanos, they're not as good as a V3 or anything, but they do, however, work.
For a cheeky vape.
For a cheeky little vape. So that's good. Yeah, let's go down, let's take this thing apart, and we'll show you exactly what's in there, exactly what we think's happening, and we'll come back up and have a little discussion.
Welcome to the Up Close and Personal with Mr. Proton.
He's obviously in one of them moods at the minute. Right, guys, basically, this is your tank clear thing. I'm not entirely sure what this is called, to be honest with you. Really sloppy, but we're just asked to rip it apart and see exactly what we think of it. So that is what we're doing. So basically, you've got your tip there, which is just kind of like a whistle tip. Inside, you've got a, if worm focuses like he's supposed to be doing, as opposed to sitting there bloody vaping. There we go. Inside, you've got like a silicone prong, similar to what you get on like the RSST. That just pulls out. That's how you fill it. You need a syringe or needle nose to fill this thing, so not great for on the fly. And then you've got to put this bloody thing back in, and this silicone bung seems a little bit too big for this hole anyway, so whatever, we'll get off of that. Then, I don't know if you're going to be able to make this out. You can just, you see you've got some sort of colour difference or a layer difference in that body there. See it on the way round? There you go. That, shut your face. That there is your air channel going down from the top. As you can see, it's not quite cylindrical. You've got an air channel going down there just like a Type A. So your air's coming down here past this silicone, and then obviously there's some witchcraft going on in this metal bit here, so we're going to crack this thing open and see exactly what is going on. Now, excuse me guys, I'm using some very hefty tools for such a small device, but it's all right to hand. So basically I'm going to clamp the 510 with that, and I'm not entirely bothered as to whether the body does seem to just, there we go, pull off, lovely. Right, okay, that's where your atomizing happens. If we poke this little bobby pin down here, there's your silicone bung. So obviously you've got a slot there, silicone bung would sit on that. That's where your air chamber goes, just down there. And obviously you've got your coil in there, and on the top there you've got a minuscule bit of wick and what looks like a Type A prong. It does seem like a recycled parts list, to be honest with you. So just pop that silicone off. That's what we're left with. Now,
it looks like they've tried to make like a permanent Type A carto.
If we just pop that top out, right, okay. What we've got there is a piece of metal holding a bit of wick that sits in the tank. Now that looks like 1 mil, maybe 2 bits of 0.6 or something. Yeah, there's 2 bits of, it looks like 2 bits of 0.6. Either way, it doesn't equivalent to much more than 1 mil of wick in there.
Is that even saturated?
It is kind of, but I've just washed it, so it'll be wet anyway. And that obviously is going through there. Okay, comes at the bottom there, and it sits in that there. Okay, so basically, if you can see that really up close, I know Worm's going to have to get his focus finger on. And again, there we go. You've got a little bit of wick in there with what looks like a 7 or 8 wrap coil around that. And we'll explain what the other stuff on the outside is in a minute. But basically, you've literally got 1 mil of wick coming from a tank full of juice, just touching that coil, I'd imagine. So not the best start in the world. No. Right, let's see what we're going to do here. I imagine we'll just pop that out. Same as any old Atty head, really. From the look of it down here, we just pop this. The middle post is obviously out. To stab myself. The middle post is obviously your positive. So yeah. Let's see if we can get this blooming thing out. We're halfway there. There we go. That is your positive for your 510 connection there. Just pop that at the bottom. Those of you guys who rework overheads and stuff will be familiar with the look of that. So I should be able to just pull this rubber bung out now.
It should be in the operative word.
It always is the operative word with me. Whenever I say I should be able to do something, a piece of what's it, it never happens.
You're off camera.
Oh God! Honestly, I don't care at the minute. I'm just trying to get this bloody rubber out. Oh, and I might just stabbed it through instead. See if we can. Yeah, there we go. Oh God! There we go. And there's your rubber. So basically your rubber will sit over that connection just there, and that gives you positive and negative. Traditionally, your positive would be on the inside of this rubber bung touching that, which touches your battery connection. Your negative would sit on the outside of the rubber bung touching the body for your negative. Not the case here. You've got one wire, you've got a positive coming from there, so no negative. Now I'm going to push this up and stab her out and see what we've got in here. Right, that there is just a housing for your atomizer section, so that is now UA. There's a silicon bung in the bottom, sitting on the bottom of the coil with one piece here, one piece of wire. So literally all you've got coming off of that, actually mate, that is literally just a positive going through a silicon bung attached to the rest of the bottom where your 510 connection is positive post. Now that feels like and looks like a ceramic cup. Okay, that white bit there, and around here is what I would call metal gauze. Okay, unoxidized metal gauze. So if we peel that off, there's obviously 2 layers on there. Second one starts there, I believe. There we go. Peel that off. Right, got a bit of resistance there. And there you go, there's your negative. Your negative's touching that like that. So it comes out the silicon cup, touching the metal. You see it just right about there. Can you make that?
Bring it up closer. I'll get a little bit of focus on it.
Right there, your negative's coming off that. What you've got is this sitting over that like that, and that touches your body, which gives you negative, which is an incredibly strange way of doing it. Why would you not just take those both out the bottom and save the aggro? Mainly, I think, because as we said before, this gauze is meant to wrap around there. You've got your air feed coming from the side, I'd imagine. So if you imagine that's all back together again, inside there with that on top of it, your air feed's coming on the side past the gauze. So in actual fact, your air feed comes up through your 510 and almost past the coil on the side, and not directly through it. I mean, it will go through it, but it kind of comes up and then out and up the side like a Type A. And then inside here, I'd imagine, well, that looks like it's very tightly secured. I'm not sure what they've done now. That wire is definitely in there. If we can just pull this out, it'd be nice to see how much wick's in there. Sorry guys, there we go, we've got one half of it out. That right there is the total amount of wick around that coil. That is not sufficient. I don't care what anyone says. There's just not enough wick there to saturate. If you ignite that, if you push that to vaporize that liquid, it's going to vaporize everything that wick could possibly hold in like less than a second. And then on top, it's just not wicking fast enough to cope with it. Well, it's not wicking at all, if I'm honest with you, and because you can't pull it, you can't actually manually feed it, which is poor, if you ask me. Poor design. And even if the top was wicking adequately, I think you'd then have a lot of flooding issues. So not great, to be honest with you. And you've got about 5 or 6 wraps on that coil. I imagine this is nichrome, probably quite high resistance to give you 2.5 ohms off of 5 wraps around like 1 mil at best of wick. And I mean, you can see there, guys, that is there the size that your wick is with your coil around it. So I'm trying to get something to give you a size comparison to. We've got anything
it's
around?
about.
Have we got anything around that's kind of common? It's 30ml bottle. Have you got a 30ml bottle? That's not common.
No, but we do have.
We do have a ruler. My dear God, we're getting professional with this. Right, we do have a ruler, and that there is inside to inside.
I'd say probably about 6 mil.
4 mil.
4.
4 and a bit mil. I am not joking when I say I have wick that's thicker than that. And that's what you've got across there. So your coil's sitting in there, a load of this rump around it. Don't be wrong, the craftsmanship is quite good. I mean, the idea I kind of get, but
in practice, rubbish.
it is not good. I mean, and the route that's been taken about this is quite redonkulous, to be honest with you, because you could have quite easily had that coil come out, and the wicks, if this ceramic cup here, if that had grooves, if that had grooves cutting it side and side, and the wick actually came out, okay, and around there was a bit of cotton or more silica, and then around that you had your metal to give you your negative, or you negated it from down the base. It would give you the same effect, but you'd be able to hold enough juice to actually get a decent hit off it and not constantly dry hit. Main problem one lies with this. That there is not feeding, sorry guys, that there is not enough space, or there's too much wick, or it's swelling and it's choking it.
You need like a 3mm bit of wick on that to feed that properly.
Well, yeah, for the amount that you're going to be vaporising, yeah, that's not enough wick. That's problem number one, despite anything else. And then problem number two is the amount of, well, the lack of silica around, or in this chamber, or in this ceramic, sorry, for your core to sit around. It's just, it was never going to work. I mean, I'm not a designer of this stuff, and I could look at this and go, I wouldn't even bother building that because it's not going to work. So, what they were thinking, not entirely sure. But you now know what's inside this EpiPen thing. No, EpiPen, that's what you take if you're allergic to stuff, innit? That's for people who are going to anaphylactic shock. Not EpiPen, HydroVape Pen. Yeah, please don't stick an EpiPen in your mouth and push the button, guys, because you might end up with a completely different result that you're after. But that's what's inside it. We're going to come back to us, and we'll have a wee chinwag about this, and then we're going to be done. So, yeah, guys, we'll see you in a second.
Welcome back up, guys. He's being a pleb, trying to put me off again. Yeah, so that was the, whatever it was.
The guts and the garters of the HydroVape, not the EpiPen, the HydroVape Pen. I want to call it like, it's not really clear on mine, is it? It's kind of weird.
It's I don't know what Type A thingy.
Type A me what's it.
Me what's it, we'll go with me what's it.
Me what's it. But you see what's going in there, guys. I mean, that kind of shows you how it's working. Like I say, air comes down the side past the silicone, which stops your juice interfering. The problem is the juice doesn't ever get anywhere near it, to be honest with you. That's part of the problem. Maybe they should leave that slot open and maybe you might get a vape off it. But
then it'll flood, but you might get one hit off it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was one hit when it was filled, one hit.
Bear in mind, I did leave that for about 10 minutes while I was prepping up, getting ready and that, getting all the chairs in place and the camera up and all that kind of rubbish. So it is what it is. It's crap. It really is.
It's not.
I'm not the most subtle people. I don't have much to say on marks.
We don't beat around the bush. I mean, should we give this our marks? We basically traditionally have a 5-point hit list. So looks, usability, maintenance, flavour and vapour, and overall. So should we do it? Why not? Let's do it.
2.
On its own 2. In the pen, it's about an 8.
In the pen,
if that's what you like. So
if it's in the pen, it does look like a
the idea is very
STV
good.
or EVOD sort of style.
So it's pretty good, the idea of it. Usability. Well,
it's a pain.
Well, it's a 10 because you just buy it and leave it on the side because that's all it's ever going to be good for. All right. Realistically, right, taking all piss taken outside, usability, you have to syringe fill, pain in the arse. It holds. We can only guesstimate because we haven't actually syringe filled it and measured it, but I'd say between 0.6 and 1 mil at best.
I'd say at most 1 mil.
And that's being quite generous. The vape's going to be caught with vape. The one pull we had off of each of ours was cold. Well, not cold, but on the scale of 1 to 10, it was about 3.
Yeah.
I like it like around an 8.
You like around a 10?
I do like things hot. I do like it hot. So yeah, just usability in general. It's going to be so much more hassle than it's worth, even if it works.
But what are you getting off it, one pull?
Oh, even if it worked though, usability compared to something like the Vision Nano, and I'm not being funny, that is what I am comparing this to. It's basically exactly the same size. It would fit inside that pen. It does a much better job, and we actually quite rated it for what it is. I mean, compared to something like a Carto tank, it's like a 3 out of 10. But on its own standalone for the size, it's much better than most of the traditional sort of Cigar-like cartridges that you'd get for 510 batteries. So we quite rated that. Compared to that, this is like a 1 out of 10 compared to that's 8 out of 10. So it's just usability a bit shit.
Maintenance. Well, if you we normally give it the 2 scales of if you're going to use it as a throwaway. There is no real maintenance if it works.
Well, even now, if you use it as a throwaway, buy it, don't work, right in the bin.
There you go. If you're going to rebuild that,
no chance. I'm not being funny. I mean,
I think you'd have a better chance of rebuilding a cartomizer.
We could rebuild that. No, I mean, I think that'd be easier than a Carto. I could rebuild that because realistically, all you've got to do is get your core inside that silicone cup and then get your silicone on top. But I would like to point out, if I was going to rebuild that, I wouldn't negative it at the body. I'd negative straight down, which would make your life a lot easier, wouldn't it?
So we would probably customise that though. We take all that.
It wouldn't just be a case of rebuilding it. It would be a case of creating a new device from it. But
which we might do.
You've got no fucking chance of that. To be honest with you, we're going to have build quality into the end of this as well, I think. But maintenance, realistically, it doesn't work. So maintenance is irrelevant. If something doesn't work, you're never going to use it. Therefore, there's nothing to maintain. Maintenance for me is a zero. That's just what it is. There's nothing to maintain because it doesn't work. Flavour and vapour. Flavour, burnt, vapour, mediocre. Sorry, I feel so sarcastic at the minute.
If you do like the burnt taste, flavour's going to be like a 10 for you. It really is.
There you go. I mean, it is. Don't take what we're doing on camera now as gospel and all the rest of it. Like I said, we both had one. That was worms. I had one. I did sit here and what was that, about good half hour, trying to make sure that it wasn't just us being plums, trying to dry put it, which you can't do, because I'm guessing that silica is expanding and choking, so it just won't feed. Yeah. We tried several things to get it to work. We did really try to get this thing to work. It's not like we've gone and just put it down.
We had two of these. So one of them you spent half hour on it. I spent 5 minutes and got annoyed. And then we used mine. And
well, the thing is, in that half hour, I wasn't trying to vape it until I thought maybe I've done something that actually could make a difference. And still, it was so burnt after 5 or 6 pulls, it was unrecoverable. My argument with this kind of stuff is, one, if whatever I did solved the issue, great. My main point of that is, though, I shouldn't have to do that. If it's coming from a company, if I'm able to do it, so are they. So that is where I stand on it. Yeah, if you can make it work for you, great, but you shouldn't bloody have to. You're paying your money and you deserve something that works out of the box. But secondly, we couldn't get it to work doing anything, and we're not novice vapers.
$4.99?
I think it's about 4 or 5 quid, but I'm not being funny.
You can get a C5 for that.
You can get a C5 for that. You can
get a Nova.
We've seen Novas for that. Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong, not the best quality Novas, but they are Novas and they work like a Nova does. It's just you have to basically buy different heads for it because the heads are quite cheap. But they will work for a fiver. You get your Vision Nano for about 3 quid. You can get an EVOD for a fiver, and an EVOD will look better than that if you ask me, even with the pen lid. Right? Yes, you can't hang it off your jacket, but I could quite happily stick it in my pocket. Huh. So I know they're trying to serve a different purpose. They're trying to look like a pen, but come on, who are we kidding? It's not a bloody pen. I mean, even with like 400 mile battery in the bottom of that, it's still this big. it's still like, I mean, where's the size of the pen? You got a pen?
The pen?
The actual pen, yeah.
Oh God, no, you're asking things.
I mean, I've never used a pen that thick. I know it doesn't look too thick on camera, but realistically, no one has used a pen this thick. If I give my eagle eye to that there is 14 mil, I'd guesstimate, maybe 13 mil. Still bigger than any pen you're going to bloody use.
Where is the ruler?
Oh, it's over there in that black case. It's still bigger than any bloody pen you're ever likely to use. So any eagle-eyed people amongst you are going to know it's not. You're better off just sticking the bloody thing in a case and sticking it in your pocket, screwing it together. So I do like the idea of that. Don't take this wrong. I do like the idea of it, but this don't work. And that pen restricts airflow even more, as we've said in the first part of this.
14 mil.
Makes it worse. What did I say it was? Fucking getting good at this.
Lucky fuck.
no, I'm getting good at this. So it's just simple as that. Now, we did say we'd throw build quality into the mix, which usually we don't bother because usually we go over that. With this, build quality is getting
0.
It doesn't work.
Even the pen, look at that. Can you hear that? That's that top thing just flicking around.
So your build quality is getting a 0.
The plastic on the see-through, you can literally, I can push that in my thumb.
There you go.
There's not a lot of pressure.
So not expensive materials. I imagine it's not expensive, but you don't expect to be able to push things through and pop them out with your thumb without really trying. Because with me, that in my pocket,
any bit of wear tear, that's going to get ruined.
And I also noticed the paint, the rubberized paint on the outside isn't too good either. That'll scrape off fairly quickly. So build quality is going to get a none. I mean, had it worked, build quality would have been about a 5, because the actual quality of what's there isn't great, but the engineering behind it is quite good.
Yes.
It's just, don't make something no one wants. It's pointless.
Don't overcomplicate something either.
Yeah, it's absolutely pointless.
Overall?
My overall for this, bear in mind I do quite like the idea of it. 1.
He's being generous.
That's my overall.
0.
There you go. That's worms over. But it's just it's an absolutely pointless thing. I personally can think of better ways of doing it, and I honestly reckon in a shed, me and Worm could come up with something that's better than that in a couple of hours, given given the resources that companies have got who make this kind of stuff, don't waste your time with crap like this, honestly. You've got much better things to pursue, and no doubt you could do something that you could make something that does this job a lot better, and it'd just be ideal. Either make something that looks like a pen to vape, or make something that you're going to concentrate on not having bacteria in. Don't combine the both, because both are never going to be as good as rival devices. Combine the two and it just doesn't work at all. At least if they were almost as good as rival devices, they'd have a unique selling point. This has no unique selling point apart from the fact it doesn't bloody work.
Sorry guys, I know I've been quite quiet in this video, but I really have nothing to say on this thing. It's just rubbish. It really is. I mean, oh, one thing I have got to do, Dan, if you are watching, which you probably are, random item of the day. Mint sauce Coleman's.
Coleman's mint sauce. But that's, to be honest with you, I think we can flap on and flap on and flap on about this all we like, but push comes to shove, it's
Don't
done.
buy it.
So, I mean, to be honest with you, even if you wanted to buy it, I don't think you could, because even the vendor who sent this to us hasn't got it. There maybe there is, but the vendor who sent this to us says, I haven't got it on the site, I don't really want to sell it. No. So that's why they asked for our opinion, just in case it was a bit of them not sort of getting it or wanted us to rip it apart and make sure that we did everything we could to make it work, and it's still not working. So yeah, all in all, guys, it's not worth the trouble. So I think we're done. I think if we carry on, we're just going to ramble about how crap it is, and we've done that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting because
all right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Mr. Proton. It's been the Worm. Catch you soon.
See you soon, guys.